Hello and welcome to another illuminating episode of Crime Watch, your top-notch security program where we keep you abreast of the dynamics of security issues in an attempt to have a crime-free society. On the show today, we shall be beaming as such light on the growing concern of the abuse of social media and the internet, and that's following the recent videotape of a woman who flogged and stripped her husband Facebook friend naked in Anambra State. We also have on our line of the activities of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in tackling oil bunkering in Ondo State. But first, we'll take our crime news. Welcome to Crime Watch. I'm Ivy Kano.
Justice Sikiru Oyinloye of Kwara State High Court has ordered that one Abu Salam Abu Kadri be remanded in Mandala prison till 28th of March when his trial will commence. Mr. Abu Kadri is standing trial for alleged vote buying during the last governorship election in Kwara State.
Oh, it's so simple. The court denied his bail and asked us to come properly by filing our motion for it. Not that we will not be granted bail, but the court said that we must come formally. That's just the long and short of the whole thing, because the offense for which is accused of is ordinarily bailable. But the court said he must have something to work on, that we must come formally by motion, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, the court how soon?
Very soon, by tomorrow. We bring it to the court. This is an offense that is ordinarily bailable. And the court also affirmed that it's ordinarily bailable. However, the court wants to have a good record that we must come properly.
The governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa, is pushing for a combination of vocational skills training and mind reformation to get young people off crime. He disclosed these to the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Prison Reform and Decongestion, whom he hosted at the government house in Asaba.
Fortunately, the crime rate is growing by the day, but facilities are not growing, and therefore the resultant effect is what we find. But I think that generally what we need to look for most in terms of the reforms in the prison is actually being able to restructure the mind of the prisoners.
We have advocated and has been accepted that the Controller General of Prison, as by law, be allowed to make recommendations for special amnesty for this kind of process, so that when they come out with their credentials, the stigmatizing effect of the word convict will not be visited on them, so that their credentials could be more meaningful and they get meaningful engagement in the society.
The Ekiti State government says it will deploy additional sanctions in its fight against sexual violence. Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Wale Fakmonwuda, who announced the new measures, is worried about the rising rates of sexual violence in the state.
The additional measures that we now put in place are the following. 1. Pasting the photographs of convicted sex offenders in prominent public spaces in their communities and their local government headquarters. 2. Issuing an advisory to the traditional ruler of the sex offenders community on the status of the sex offender. 3. Uploading the sex offender's photograph on the website of the Ministry of Justice.
A 5-year-old girl, Aisha Ibrahim, who was kidnapped on the 16th of March in Warri, Delta State by unknown persons, has been rescued on earth by the police at Lafia, Nasarawa State. Aisha Ibrahim was reunited with her father at the force headquarters, Abuja. The family of Ochegbo Jongo is demanding justice following his death after an altercation with police operatives in Yanya, a suburb of Abuja. They say the civil defense officer died after he was manhandled by police.
The traffic warden stopped the other vehicle, those ones coming from Nyanya, stop them and ask we that are coming from this Karo Aziz to turn. He asked us to go. So as we were going, he stopped my husband, told my husband to stop. My husband said, for what? I am late. Please allow me to drop my children. I'm going to the office. He said, even if you are late, na me cause the hold up. Na me cause the hold up. Which kind you are late? You won't hit me, ba? Oh yeah, hit me now. Hit me. See this civil defense, oh. They won't come, they teach us our job. Now we teach them the job. He went towards my husband's car. Started dragging my husband, that my husband should come down. Gave my husband a slap. Before you know it, the other fellow traffic warden came with him. He was holding this talk through. The other person was holding talk through. They were using it on my husband. They dragged my husband to the police station. Still using that what's it called? Nyanya police station. Nyanya area F police station. That one by the fire service. All the policemen on duty, night duty, waiting for the money people to come and take over. They were all pushing my husband on his forehead like this, telling him, civil defense, we taught you people this job. For the DPO to come and say, let's bring needle and test him. This man, he's pretending, get me syringe, let me deal with him. Get me syringe. So I was watching them. My husband was lying down lifelessly. That was how they killed my husband.
Our very first big story explores the incident that happened in Anambra, where a woman who is popularly known as Adaibo on social media stripped naked and attacked a fellow woman, claiming she was the husband's girlfriend.
Call it the case of one person's interest becoming another woman's source of rage. But that was what played out in Anambra State when Tochukwu Azota attacked her husband's Facebook female friend and stripped her naked. In one viral video posted online, the stripped woman was being assaulted by Tochukwu's niece in the bathroom of the house while she recorded the episode. In another video, the victim is seen dressed in a wrapper allegedly given to her by a sympathizer to cover her nakedness, while the said niece of the wife continued to assault her. A man believed to be a sympathizer was seen pleading with her attackers to stop the assault. Until the early years of the 21st century, crimes were often committed away from the full glare of the public, with traditional media organizations broadcasting such information on their own terms. Today, the social media has given everyone a voice, but not with a sense of responsibility. It is easier to share anything with family, friends, and even strangers, ensuring that street fights, sexual assaults, murder cases, and other crimes can go viral on the internet anytime. Anambra State Police Commissioner Rabi Oladodo has since condemned the assault and the video recording.
I had a meeting with all my area commanders and DPOs where I took time to analyze security challenges of this state. Now, before I tell you our design and our hope, let me briefly explain on the that case of nudity which you people are anxious to hear. Although it is already on social media, the suspects are here. A man and his Facebook woman friend. A man invited his Facebook friend to his house. Later his wife, whether known to the husband or unknown, whether they conspired or not, investigation is ongoing. But the wife, along with her friend, a female friend, suddenly came. They naked that woman, flogged her. You have seen it viral on all over the social media. Flogged her seriously to the extent of, pursuing her outside the house, publicly naked. And the wife of the, Facebook friend videoed her, later requested some of 60,000 naira from her. Instead of paying, she reported to police. We moved into action. We arrested all of them. They confessed. They are giving us useful information, and the investigation is ongoing. This is inhuman. You have seen it. And the woman that is the wife of the Facebook, the wife of the Facebook friend to that woman, confessed, recording this video, and she also confessed, releasing it to members of the public. Look at how the woman was inhumanly maltreated.
Reacting to the allegations, the suspects confessed to the crime but said they never intended to hurt the victim by circulating the video.
So we told her to come out, let's settle this. She refused to come out, so I left. So coming back, I came out. I told her she should come, let's settle this. Then she now came out. But my sister has been telling me that the first time they slept is in the hotel. The lady paid. The second time is in the house, which the guy confirmed that she told the lady that he's married, but she keeps coming from Abuja to here. So what really made me got so angry is that my ex-husband took my son to his girlfriend in Lagos and kept my son there. And I've reported to this police station, so they said they would track him and nobody was doing anything about it. So that anger of him taking my son to his girlfriend in Lagos, and I've been looking for my son for months. So when I got here, I didn't want my sister to feel such bad. And the video we made wasn't for sharing. We made it in case after flogging her, she denies. We just met her on the street and we started beating her.
I felt very bad because I never knew that thing we went far like that.
I came to the house. So with that tense inside me, she was threatening me, telling me that she's going to report me to the police, this and that, that she's supposed to come with the APS, ASP, that they'll come and arrest me, this and this.
How many people are inside the room when they are doing that to you?
There are 3.
Who are who?
The wife, the lady that locked me up
and the one
for house, and the one that invited me to the house.
So they invited you?
He was the one that invited me.
And the husband was there?
That is the man that invited me. I need them to be charged to court. That's just the truth.
How do they compensate you with money?
No, because this thing has killed my career. Not even only in Nigeria, outside the country.
On our special interview today, we'll be discussing the recent video that has gone viral, and it is the video that is actually very traumatizing. If you have seen social media, you see the video where a young lady was assaulted by a particular woman who kept, flogging her. Now the question is, and Nigerians are beginning to abuse the use of the internet. So we have a constitutional lawyer today who is going to help us dissect. We want to know where do you draw the lines between moral offense and criminal offense. And to join us today is human rights activist barrister Iniebege Effiong. Welcome to the program. Now I want you to help. Where do you draw the line between moral offense and criminal offense?
There's always an intersection between law and morality. As a matter of fact, there are offenses that can be described as offenses against morality under the criminal law, under the penal legislation. Therefore, the distinction between morality and law in some instances may be blurred. However, there are also instances where a moral conduct, an infraction of a moral conduct, or a moral infraction may also be a criminal infraction. For example, in the case that you have referenced, where a woman is stripped naked, physically assaulted, and it is also alleged that the suspects extorted her and even threatened to release the nude video on social media except she makes certain payment to them. In such a case, it is not correct to say, oh, this is just a moral matter. It does not concern the state, because there are ample provisions under our laws to cater for such cases, for such conduct. And briefly, for example, in Lagos State, if that were to happen in Lagos State, the suspects can be prosecuted under the criminal law of Lagos State, there are ample provisions to cater for such cases. If you look at what we are talking about closely, what was done to that woman may result in several charges or several counts should the state decide to prosecute. And indeed, it is expedient for prosecution to take place to serve as a deterrent to others. The suspects may also be charged for assault occasioning harm, if, for example, injury had resulted from that assault. They can also be charged for blackmail, extortion by threat, or attempts to extort under Section 301 of the Criminal Law of Lagos State, which criminalizes the conduct of making demands on a person or making threats to derive a gain, where somebody is saying, oh, if you don't give me 5,000, if you don't give me so and so, if you don't do this, I'm going to expose you for doing this. I'm going to accuse you of committing a crime. That is an attempt to extort. That is a clear case of blackmail. And the publication of the nudity, the video on social media itself is a separate offense. The suspect can be charged for publication of obscene matter were that to happen in Lagos State under Section 150 of the Criminal Law of Lagos State. If it is an infant that is involved, they can also be charged for publication of infant nudity under the Cyber Crimes Act, under Section 23 of the Cyber Crimes Act. So what they have done is not just a question of morality. It is a crime that has to be prosecuted, that should be diligently prosecuted. And the reason why these things happen repeatedly, the reason why we see this trend is because of the moral decadence in the society. It is also the failure of the state, the failure of governance, the failure of law, the inefficiency of our law enforcement mechanisms. That is what emboldens people to resort to such criminality. And it is not a defense in law to say, oh, this woman was caught sleeping with my husband. That is why we stripped her naked. That is why we assaulted her. The law does not allow for self-help. So if such a defense is proffered in court, it is likely going to fail. So for me, I totally condemn this kind of conduct, and I believe the police should prosecute the suspect diligently.
My question again is for the witnesses who just stood by and watched that happen. Are they going to be charged for the same offense?
No, the fact that someone is at a crime scene without more is not a crime in itself. Witnessing a crime is not an offense, except beyond the act, beyond witnessing, a person has either aided or abetted the commission of that offense, or acted as an accessory after the fact. For example, upon the commission of the offense, a person who witnessed it now give protection, now shields the suspect or the culprit from prosecution or arrest. That is when it will be said that this is not just about witnessing, that an offense has been committed. So those who just stood by and watched that criminality taking place, it becomes a matter of moral retribution. It is not a matter for the state to prosecute. But if beyond witnessing, beyond being at the locus criminis, at the scene of crime, someone is found to have facilitated the commission of that offense, either by procuring the instrument with which the assault was commissioned, or by facilitating the recording of the nudity, either by giving the phone or the computer device by which that recording was done, then one could be said to have aided and facilitated the commission of the offense. And there is also the offense of conspiracy, because in this instance, it is not just one person that committed that crime. You have a man and also about two women who who participated in it. So the police can also charge them, the state can also prosecute the culprits for conspiracy to commit felony. And I believe that prosecution should take place. Otherwise, we will continue to see these kind of things in our society.
Barrister, in all this, if found guilty, what's the penalty for them?
It depends on what they are charged for. In Lagos, for example, the conducts I have highlighted, for example, attempts to extort, blackmail, upon conviction by virtue of Section 301 of the Criminal Code Law of Lagos State, it is a felony that attracts an imprisonment of 3 years. For the obscene publication under Section 150 of the Criminal Code Law of Lagos State, it also attracts 3 years with an alternative fine of 450,000 naira. And under the Cyber Crimes Act, supposing they are prosecuted either under section, for example, under Section 24 of the Cyber Crimes Act, if the elements of the offense are constituted, that is, if the state is able to show that the conduct in question is within the framework, is within the contemplation and the intentment of that section, the culprits can also be convicted. And upon conviction, they can be fined, they can also be imprisoned. But the important thing is that people should appreciate that this is not just a moral issue, that there is also the criminal dimension to it. And for that reason, it is important for people to desist from it. Like I said, it is not a justification to say, oh, this woman came to my house and had intercourse with my husband, or this man was caught sleeping with my girlfriend. That is not, it does not avail in law. It is not a defense. So I call for the total and diligent prosecution of the suspects, and beyond the criminality of the conduct, it is also an infringement of the fundamental right of the victims, because their dignity to human person has been deprived, for which they can be sued for enforcement under Section 34 of the Constitution, which guarantees the right to the dignity of the human person. Their personal liberty, the woman was also kept, her freedom was restrained, her movement was restrained. So I totally condemn it, and I also encourage that beyond prosecution by the state, the victim should also go ahead to sue the suspects and the culprits for infringement of a fundamental right to the dignity of a person, to a personal liberty. So this is how grave and serious this kind of conduct is. Therefore, it is not just a moral matter. It is a criminal matter. It is an offense against the state. It is also an infraction, an encroachment of the fundamental rights of the victims.
Our second big story takes us to Ondo State, where the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps is clamping down seriously on economic saboteurs involved in oil bunkering.
Ondo State, one of the 9 Niger Delta states, is one of the most peaceful in the country. But the prevailing peace in the coastal area of the state is often breached by illegal oil bunkerers. One of the responsibilities of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, is to tackle nefarious activities of bunkerers. The new commandant of NSCDC in the state, Christina Abiakam, seems ready to curb this rising trend through partnership with relevant stakeholders. She was at the office of the Ondo State Oil Producing Areas Development Commission, OSUPADEC, to seek cooperation of the interventionist agency in the fight against illegal oil bunkering and better mutual relationship. The new NSCDC boss warned bunkerers, describing them as saboteurs.
The fight against illegal bunkering activities and the vandalism of all sorts has been one of the major mandates of NSDC. Ondo State, being an oil producing area, is not left out. And we all know that this oil is part of the resources that maintain and sustain our economy. So we are not going to be on the background. We have been doing it, we'll continue to fight them. I want to tell them that my stay in Ondo State, that anybody
that refuses to pursue it legitimately will always face the wrath. We are here to collaborate with Osopadet to help us in partnership to achieve this our aim, that Ondo State should be crime-free, especially as it borders in oil illegal bunkering.
To put in place. So you can For the chairman of the commission, Bengai Demba, oil theft is a major threat to economic activities in Nigeria. He was quick to add that Nigeria is losing billions of naira to these illegal business.
We are not unaware of this, but we are very, very optimistic that this new commandant did say that she's ready to fight bunkering or illegal bunkering. And we know that if the illegal bunkering is not checkmated, certainly it has a debilitating effect on the output of the oil that comes to the state. And that simply be to also go to affect the 30% derivation fund, of which we are also a stakeholder, a critical stakeholder. And you will recall that we need all these fundings to actually deliver the goods to our people in the mandate area. So we have discussed whatever area of collaboration that we can give to the Civil Defense Corps. I think that will be very fine. So we've been collaborating before, but this is a new leadership. I think it's apt that she comes around so that we can judge her. We can also look at areas of collaboration and what are her mission and vision for the bandit area.
It is expected that the meeting will produce good results and ensure that illegal oil bunkering is reduced to the barest minimum in the oil-producing communities of the state as NSCDC officials seek cooperation in other areas.
And just before we go, here are some security tips. And that's where we draw our curtains today on this program. Remember to keep a date with us, same station, same time next week. And also send your comments to crimewatch@tvcnews.tv. I'm Ivy Kano. Do have a crime-free week.